Yo, you know what it is. Another episode of that Victory Talk. We about to get it popping up in here, man, with another episode of Victory Talk, episode 119. Let's start the show. Yo, what up? It's your man, Big Brandon Carter. Welcome to another episode of that Victory Talk. This is episode 119. You know, I'm your host, Big Brandon Carter, BBC, the King Keto, King of Ketosis, Gymnasium Jesus, Jesus de Gimnasio. And I'm joined by my co-host, best producer in the game.
Thanks.
It's Nima. What up, Nima?
All good. Man, I was late today.
It was Nima's fault today.
Yeah, it was all on me today.
Yeah. Listen, man, you know, motherfuckers get real comfortable around here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what's happening.
No bueno.
I was ready to go. You know what I'm saying? We also got Minovia, man, in the super chats. You know what I'm saying? She over there reading all the chats in the super chats, right? She's gonna read the super chats out loud. Listen, if you say anything crazy, she cannot wait to ban you for life. Like, she can't wait. Itchy trigger finger, man. You know, she's a Latina, so you know they kind of enjoy ruining men's lives, man. And you guys are in her path. You guys are in her path. So, like, hey, man, if I was you, I'd keep everything copacetic, man. You know what I'm saying? Make sure this shit don't get fucked up. Listen, we got a lot of stuff to talk about today. We're gonna talk about how to build a business. I'm also gonna break down the 10 habits I've used to help me become a multi-millionaire, balling, shot calling. Oh, Grashi gets me more. You know, Shorty just brought me. I needed a pen, a writing utensil. Shorty brought it to me. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that could be a big beginning of one of them movies. You know, one of them short films. You know, like, I need, the boss needs a pen, and then the sexy Latina brings him the pen, and then, what else you need, Poppy? You know what I'm saying? And next you know, it's popping out here. You know, we've all seen that film. We've all seen a film like that. All right. Anyway, listen, a word from our sponsors. We have 2 sponsors for this episode, Nima.
Wow.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
It's crazy out here. All right. The first sponsor is our newsletter, Big Money Methods. This is the newsletter that gives you twice a week. It gives you methods on how to get big money. It's in the title. You know, we try to make it simple to understand. And when you click that link in the description, it's the first link. Put your email in here. Then hit that button that says subscribe. And twice a week, you're going to get emails, articles written by me and the homies on how to get some money. Man, this is a good one. How to brainwash yourself for financial success. That's written by your boy. You know what I'm saying? The homie Semen wrote 3 ways your bank is scamming you. These motherfuckers taking your money, man. You don't even know it till you read Sean's article. I know he wants to be called Sean, but that's not how you spell it. All right. That's Sean. All right. Jay-Z spelled Sean right with a W. All right. Anyway, then one of my top sales guys, the big homie Chris, man, nutrition for night owls, how to stay fit, even if you stay up late. You know what I'm saying? We have tons of articles written by me and the boys, man. Helping you guys get money, be more productive, be even better. Our next sponsor is this is a product that actually we've been working on for a long time. I don't talk about it much, right? I'm not trying to get crazy, talk about it too much, but we have we're coming out, we're dropping our own product, and it's called Thot Repellent. Oh, Thot Repellent. Thot Repellent is the easy to apply spray that will keep the hoes away. All right. So now check this out. Listen, once you start, the reason this is important is because once you really start balling and shot calling, these hoes gonna be all on you, man. They not gonna know what to do with yourself, man. When you building your money, muscle, and mindset, like we show you how to do on the Victory Talk podcast, come on, man, these hoes gonna be all over you. Some of them gonna have nefarious intentions, right? So it's not all sweet out here, right? And then, God forbid, you join the Victory Unit Discord, right? And in there, I got free courses. I'm giving out free advice. I'm going live in there sometimes, answering questions. I got a free course called the Baller Mindset, one of the best courses you'll ever get. If you've experienced Baller Mindset, tell in the chat. Type. Let the other chatters know what's up. The other victinators know what's up with the Baller Mindset, man. And and once you go through that, I got a free course in there that we dropped just like recently. It's called a Direct Hit. It's it's a fat loss course that I used to sell for $200. You get it for free in the Discord because I'm already rich. I don't need your money, asshole. Super rich. But that'll help you get your mind, body in shape. Baller Mindset help you get your money in shape. And once we get to 2,000 victinators in the Victory Unit Discord, 20,000. Once we get to 20,000, I'm dropping a free sales course. Come on, man. Who else is doing all this for you for free, right? Now, once you consume all that content, what's going to happen? You're going to improve your life, your money, muscle, mindset. You're going to be in great shape. You're going to have the heart of a champion, or a lion, or both. Heart of a king, a lion king. And you're going to get your money right with the Baller Mindset course. Man, these hoes going to be all over you, man. And these bitches, come on, man. They're going to be out here getting pregnant on purpose. They're going to be out here trying to ruin your lives. And you got to keep them away. Right? You got to keep them away. Right? And the only way to do that is with Thot Repellent. Right? This was made by ballers for ballers. Right? So Nima and his team of Iranian scientists, they got together and it's been genetically engineered to only affect, to only affect thots, right? Regular women, good women, it'll be fine, but it only affects the DNA of thots, sluts, hoes, slut hoes, tramps, Jezebels, harlots, skanks, midgets. And the good women, they'll be able to, they'll just think it's a delicious aroma. They'll be like, man, why you smell so good? While the thots are like bitches with like tattoos on their neck, they'll be convulsing and shit. They won't be able to handle it. All right. So but we got to get this out to the public because this is only the prototype, right? We're going to have a smaller size, the real one that's coming. You know what I'm saying? That you're going to get is going to be like TSA approved so you can travel with it. Because that's important when you balling this hard, So we need your help, right? All your super chats are going to go towards the development of Thot Repellent. It should be out with your help, with enough super chats donated from y'all. It should be out by
around 80 days, I would say.
Around 80, somewhere between 56 and 87 days. Somewhere in that range. We're going to have it. And it's going to be out to the public. We're going to do pre-order before that. All right. But if you really want it to come, you got the super chats, man. It's all going towards Thot Repellent. We're serious about it. It's really coming. It's really coming to market. All right. I kind of just want to get into it. I kind of want to get into the teachings today. I think we got two super chats. Two of the heroes have already contributed to Thot Repellent.
We have He added his name this time. Yan?
Begin.
Apart from creating market for Thot Repellent, why do you invest so much in victory talk without selling something? Make us pay for that crazy value.
Hey, listen, man, I appreciate that, man. You know, listen, I do it for the love. You know, I do it for because like, what else am I gonna do, man? Fly around the world. Fly around the world shopping and shit, you know, like, and I'm trying to right. Okay, here's the thing. Something you should know about me. The main thing I want now in life is I think the kids call it clout or pros. I want you guys to be successful, improve your lives, and give me the credit. Right? I need that for my ego. And that's what this is all about. This is all about earning your praise, right? Because I see you guys in public a lot. You know, I was just on a flight. You know, I get in first class, then people get on after me, right? I call it the poverty parade, right? Because you're in first class, you get on first. Well, not first. First they let on the cripples and the veterans, right? And after them motherfuckers hobble on the plane, then they let us on. All right. They let the ballers on in first class, and then y'all come. And I call it the poverty parade, man. It'd be like kids crying and shit. It's exciting. It's fun for me, man. You know, I see people looking, oh man, look at these seats. I'm like, don't touch. Get back there. And every once in a while, I see one of y'all. You're one of the homies, and he's like, man, yo, you been a big inspiration, man. You changed my life. I'm like, well, why are you going to the back, man? Listen, if you've been listening to what I've been saying, man, you be sitting up over here, man, with the rest of the ballers. So we need more of y'all. We need more of y'all to ball, man. You know what I'm saying? Because going around telling people I inspired you, and you in the poverty parade, man, I don't want to take credit for that. I want to take credit for you balling. I want you sit next to me. But now, you know, I see one, and I'm like, oh man, I'm glad I can help, man. Now get to the back. You holding up the line. I'm just fucking with you, I guess. All right, listen, I kind of want to get into the teaching today. Check this out. I got some stuff that's going to help you. I want to give you guys the 10 habits that I've used to make me a multi-millionaire coming from the South Side of Chicago, the black ghetto. It's a ball in the shot calling, flexing on haters, studying on the hoes. And these are the 10 habits in a little segment we like to call Habits of a Winner. Yo, what up? What up? Okay. In this video, I want to break down the 10 habits I've used to go from being poor and broke to being a multi-millionaire. All right. And excuse me. And I know these habits will help you because over the last few years, I've helped literally thousands of people build successful business, and I've helped I've helped lots of people build $1 million businesses. I've helped lots of people build $1 million businesses, and the tips I give you, I say that to say the tips that I'm about to give you, they not only have they worked for me, but they've worked for literally thousands of people I've coached. Well, I don't have thousands of students who became millionaires. I have about a handful, maybe like 20 students who became millionaires, but I have literally thousands who went from being broke to making multiple 6 figures per year. All right. And even myself, I came from nothing. I'm telling you, I came from the South Side of Chicago. My father committed suicide at an early age, and I was left with nothing. And this was during the recession of 2008. Unemployment was at record levels. There were people who had master's degrees who were working at Starbucks because no one was hiring. In fact, all the companies were laying people off. And in that environment, I was not only did I not sup, but in that environment, I was able to thrive and go on to become a multi-millionaire, self-made. And these are the 10 habits that help me do it. All right. So let me pull it up. All right. The first habit is to plan every hour of every day in your calendar, right? And let me show you what that means. Let me bring up my calendar. Hold up. I want to get I don't want to show y'all everything. I'm going to show y'all old week. All right. So here's what a week of my calendar looks like. This is an older week, but I use Google Calendar and I plan everything. I mean, even when I sleep, all my meetings, all my work, all my workouts. I plan meals. I plan date nights. I got when I'm gonna prepare for bed. Everything is in here. Everything is in here, and this is super important. It's actually critical because after my father committed suicide, again, after my father committed suicide, it was during the recession of 2008, and there was nobody really hiring. But you know who's always hiring? Labor jobs. So I started working for moving companies, and I was training people in the morning. I would wake up super early. I would train people in the morning, right? Then I would work. Then I would work at the product store from 10. Then I would work security at the product store from 10 to 6. And then after that, I'd work for a moving company, right? And that was 5 days a week, right? And hold up, there's a phone ringing in the background. But that was 5 days a week. And during the weekend, I wake up early and I train people. And then I would work as a weekend manager at my boy's restaurant in Queens. And I did that every weekend. So this is like 12, 14-hour days. And I did that for 2 years, like 7 days a week. But I still got enough sleep. I still found time to work out and train. I didn't really neglect a whole lot of areas of my life, except for maybe recreation. But I wouldn't have been able to do that had I not started using Google Calendar and planning out every hour of every day. And then after those 2 years, I wasn't broke no more, right? I had some disposable income, and I invested that into my first business, which at the time was online training. I was one of the first people to do online training, like one of the pioneers. And I kept adhering to the schedule. I kept adhering to the practice of scheduling every hour of every day. And what I noticed was I was getting so much more done than all of my peers or anyone around me. It felt like I had a superpower. This is my number one rule. And I still do that to this day. This is how I'm able to run several multi-8-figure businesses. Yeah. Have a great relationship with my girlfriend, great relationship with my son, my nieces, my nephew, my family, still train, work out hard, get 7 to 8 hours of sleep every night. More like 7 hours sleep every night. That's appropriate for me. Build a social media empire with millions of followers across all different platforms. And I'm just running circles around these motherfuckers. When I say these motherfuckers, I'm talking about the haters, the competitors, bitch niggas and bitch bitches. It's because they don't do this. So let's look at the calendar, right? This is how you get so much more work done. You get so much done. Not even just work. The beauty of the calendar is you can actually use it to choreograph your life. Because Bruce Lee said, if you love life, don't waste time, because time is what life is made of. The calendar gives you an opportunity to actually choreograph your life. So if you don't want to work as hard as me, but you want to excel in some other areas of life, right, then put it in your calendar. You know, it works for every area of life. For example, one of my sales guys was telling me his girl was tripping. He's telling me his wife was tripping. Yeah, man. And, you know, and I asked him, I was like, man, when's the last time, how much time you spent with her? Like, he's like, oh, I don't know, man, I'm just busy. I'm like, yo, man, when the last time you went on a date with her? And it was like months ago. I was like, fuck, man, you need to put that shit in your calendar, you know? Because if you can't, you won't find time, you make time, right? The calendar is the number one thing you can do the calendar is my number one tip on how to become successful. I'm nothing without this. I live out of this calendar all the time, right? Everything that's important to me is in the calendar. All right. Sorry. Something funny happened. Okay. Now I have a video on how to set this up for your life. You should check that video out. It'll be in the description somewhere here. All right. Because, and this is super critical, because every time somebody tells me, oh man, I just don't have time to do this, I don't have time, I say, let me see your calendar. And it's empty. I'm like, of course you don't have time, man. You're not planning it. Of course you're not, you know? And then I tell them to open up the screen time app on your phone. See how you spending time. And I see that, oh man, it looks like you got tons of hours per week if you get off motherfucking TikTok and Pornhub. You know what I'm saying? I assume Chrome is Pornhub when I see it. And I'm telling you, I can look at your calendar and predict your future. I can look at your calendar and predict your future. If it's empty, well, there's a lot to be said there. All right. The next habit that helped me get filthy rich is, oh, this is the wrong one. Is tracking. So I meticulously track every area of my life where I'm trying to improve. So I keep a scale with me everywhere I go. I track my food, you know, to weigh my food so I can track my macros and my calories, every meal, everything I eat. You know, you're just putting everything in your mouth like a whore and wonder why you can't lose weight. I track how much time I spend on certain activities. I track every dollar I spend, every dollar I make. And I track how much water I drink per day in ounces. I track my sleep. I track everything. And here's why this is important, right? So I'm gonna give you an example. Here's a study that I'm going to bring up in a second. Here's a study, and it found that people who tracked their diet lost weight, even without being told to follow a specific diet. They were not told to follow any diet. They just start tracking your weight, and they lost and they got in better shape. Let me bring up the article. Let me bring up the study. All right. So here's an article explaining the studies. It was done by Duke University. This is the article they wrote about it. If you want to read the whole study, you can click here and read it. Let me accept the cookies. You can read the whole study here if you're a fucking nerd, or you can just listen to me, right? But anyway, these people track their weight. I mean, they put these people into 3 different groups, right? So one group, all they did was track their food intake, and they lost weight, right? Another group tracked their food and they tracked their weight, and they lost weight. The third group tracked their food, tracked their weight, but they were also coached by somebody. They didn't tell them what to eat, but they gave them advice based off the results they were getting, right? So the group that just tracked their weight, they lost their weight, and they kept most of it off. Or they tracked their weight for 3 months, and then 3 months later, right? So a total of 6 months, they had still kept off most of the weight. All they did was track how much food they put in their mouth. The group that tracked their weight and I said to track their, I meant to say track their diet. Okay, let me say it again. The group that only tracked their diet, they lost weight and they kept most of it off for 6 months, right? So they tracked their diet for 3 months. Then they stopped. But 3 months later, they had still maintained most of the weight loss, right? Because you start building habits, right? The second group tracked their diet and their weight every day, right? They lost a little bit more weight and kept a little bit more of it off even after they stopped tracking, right? The third group, who actually got a little bit of coaching, they lost the most weight, but they also continued to lose weight even without getting help, right? After the 3 months was over, right? All these people did was track. I think the most important part is only the people who just tracked lost weight and kept it out. All they did was track how much food they were putting in their mouth, and they got results. And this is not an isolated incident. There's another study. No. There's another study that shows that this is the University of Connecticut. They did a study where all they had people do was track their diet and they lost weight. Just the mere act of tracking improves performance. And here's why this is important. Let me break this out. Yo, I know we got Young Candlestick over there, but I just want to tell him he's got just to hold on for a second. Appreciate it, bro. All right, hold up. So there's something called the Hawthorne effect, right? So back during the Industrial Revolution, we had all these factories. This was Henry Ford and the homies. They started building all these factories, making shit. Right? This is a factory I'm drawing. I know I'm an amazing artist. Try not to get too distracted by it. And then, but they noticed with some factories had more, some factories were significantly more productive than others. So this researcher named Hawthorne and his homies, they went from factory to factory to study this phenomenon. Right. And when Hawthorne and the crew showed up, they told the workers at the factory, hey, fellas, don't do shit different. We just want to observe. We just want to see what you're doing, see how you're working, because we're just trying to gather data. And what they noticed was every time they went to a new factory, without exception, productivity started to skyrocket. And as soon as Hawthorne and the crew left, productivity went back to baseline. And what they noticed was, what their conclusions were, that the mere act of observing, the mere act of being observed improves performance, right? When you're tracking the metrics that are important to you, you become the observer, right? So it's harder to write candies and cake in your food log if you know you got to track it. It's harder to eat candy cake if you know you have to actually track that shit. You're going to make better decisions just because you're more cognizant of what's happening, right? And you've seen this in your schools, right? I remember when I was in 5th grade, 5th grade, the teacher would lead the class. Soon as she leave, niggas start rolling blunts, shooting dice, bitches is twerking and shit. And then the teacher comes back, and then everybody's back in their seat acting normal, like normal kids, man, ready to read, ready to play Simon Says or some shit, And I'm sure you guys have all had similar experience when you were in grade school, right? That's because of being observed improves performance. But it's not just like that with diet or classrooms. It's like that in all areas of life. So I take that to an extreme. So I set up little habit trackers. Hold on, let me find the right one. Which one did I use? I used 2023. Where is it? Is it? Was it 2020? What year? I wanted to show because I want to show them the right one, so I don't. I duplicated one, right? Okay, let me see. It's a duplicate. That's what I think it's this one, but it's stuff on here that I feel like I would have edited it out. I would have took it out because I don't want them to see. That's not the one. Yeah, put the music on while we find it. Hold up, guys. All right, so check this out. Here's one of my habit trackers, right? The older one. And I can't show you the newer one because there's stuff in here. I just secret shit. You know what I'm saying? But I track when I wake up and I want to be up before 5. At the time I was waking up before 5. Now it's 5:30. But I did that 80% of the days. Boom. How much time I slept. This is not time in bed. It's how much time I slept. I track it with my Oura ring, right? My workouts, boom, meditation, tracking my macros, protein intake, calorie consumptions, calorie burns. And then I have a formula to do my deficit. I was cutting how much water I have per day, tracking my finances. If I posted to YouTube, if I posted to IG, just a bunch of different metrics, other stuff I'm working on, learning Spanish. How much time I spent studying, how many hours I worked per day, other shit that's important to me. Time with friends, how much time I spent with my girl, if she was tripping or not. She wasn't tripping 90% of 90% of the month, man. That's cool. Right? The 10% was probably, bleeding season. And I get it. If my dick just started bleeding, I'd probably be in a bad mood too. You know what I'm saying? I get it. Okay. Right. But I'm tracking these things every day. And what does that do? It improves performance. Right. I showed you studies that show it improves performance. Right. So this has been something that's been important for me. Right. Any area you're trying to improve, start tracking it. I have a video on how to set up a habit tracker too. You should check that out. The link will be in the description. At some point. But this is super important. It's super critical. It's super critical. I didn't show it on here. What I edited out of this one that I wanted to show you guys was the income stuff, just because, I don't need the IRS or the haters to know exactly how much money I got, man. It's a lie, though. They know. Anyway, start tracking the metrics that are important to you. Start tracking your habits, and that will automatically improve performance. You know what I'm saying? I swear to God, it will prove it. Even if you didn't follow a legit plan on how to improve, just the mere act of tracking will improve your performance. If you don't believe me, go back and read this study. Just tracking improves performance. These motherfuckers lost weight without even being given any diet advice, no plan. All they were told was to track what they put in their mouth. Pause. All right. So anything that's important to you, you want to be a better dad, track how much time you spend with your kids. You know what I'm saying? Really take it seriously. If you want more money, track your spending. I track every dollar I spend, every dollar I make. Right? If you want to improve your relationship with your significant other, track how much time you spend with her. or him, whatever you're into. You know, I don't care. This ain't the 90s. Love whoever you want, right? But that mere act of tracking will improve performance, right? Okay. I got 8 more habits for you guys to help improve performance. I mean, that I got 8 more habits that will help you, that I want to give you to help you become a multi-millionaire. But we're gonna take a quick intermission, not from balling, just from this segment. And we're gonna introduce another segment called the market recap. I got my boy Young Candlestick, who's a trained market technician. He's the apprentice to my trading mentor Romulus, former hedge fund manager, and Young Candlestick up in here about to break this shit down for us. Let's go. Nema's worked. I don't know if he's trying to resign or what.
Nema's doing a great job. I appreciate you, Nema.
Yo, what up, Young Candlestick, man? What we got popping over here?
What's up, Brandon? Greetings, Victinators. Good to see you all. We're going to be talking about the markets today. We'll talk about the S&P 500. We'll talk about some chart setups, whether you're a trader or an investor. And we'll just take down. We'll break down some stocks from you guys.
All right, let's do it, man.
Let's go. So first up, I've got on my screen here is the Fear and Greed Index. And this is really strange because market participants are fearful, but the market is just fisting to all-time highs.
Yeah.
Like the SPY is really, really crushing it right now. So
yeah, I mean, that's crazy what it's doing right now.
I know, right? So this is our S&P 500. This is the benchmark. This is what people think about when they talk about the market. And as you can see, SPY's just making all-time highs. It's been hitting the gym, getting these gains. It's just going off.
Yeah, it is.
Basically, NVIDIA, I believe, just became the most valuable company in the world. And
of all time, right?
Of all time. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, hitting PRs. NVIDIA's hitting PRs out here.
I think NVIDIA said that they're making years of progress in just weeks. So imagine just like the parabolic nature of that type of information. So that's nuts. So anyways, we talked about NVDY. This is like the income version of NVIDIA. We talked about YMAG. This is the income version of the Magnificent Seven. The
versions that give these. So these are for those who just joined us. Those are the versions that pay dividends.
Exactly. They sacrifice some of the upside growth to pay you monthly cash flow. So it's pretty cool. But really, I want to talk a little bit about Celsius today.
Okay, let's talk about Celsius. Now, we exited that Celsius trade.
Yeah. So basically, yesterday, I was actually saying, hey, Celsius might be a short-term buy. Celsius stock is up 8.32% today. And what's cool about this is if you see a stock that's oversold, you know, it's down multiple days in a row, multiple weeks in a row, RSI gets oversold, and then you get what's called a doji. What's a doji? It's an indecision candlestick. So I'm going to kind of zoom in right here. And basically this just means there's an indecision between buyers and sellers. It tried to sell off, couldn't stay near the lows. It tried to pump, couldn't really stay near the highs.
Yeah.
Whenever you get indecision after a big downtrend, that tells you that you could potentially be seeing a trend reversal or at least a short-term little pop, short-term little bounce. So just to recap this little trade, Celsius.
You sent that trade in the Legion.
Yeah.
I remember I got it. I jumped on that.
I sent out a text alert saying, hey, I'm buying Celsius call options, the 60 strike call option. I can actually put up a graph of what happened to that call option. And you can right click, hit copy, and then you can actually put it side by side to the stock. Yeah. Over here. And as you can see, this call option yesterday closed at 1.07. So what that means is it's only $107 to enter into this trade. And then boom, first thing in the morning, it's up 114%. It's at $232. And at the end of the day, it's at $370.
I sold first thing in the morning.
I just took the quick pump. You know, if you want to hold it for more, that's totally cool. What we call IV spikes. Because the rate at which Celsius went up spikes up those call options. That's why options trading is kind of like 3D trading versus just trading stocks. It's like linear, like two-dimensional.
It's more complicated. You know what I mean?
Exactly. There's a lot of dimensions going on.
But I took that trade and it worked out really well.
Hey, congratulations. That was a fun trade. I also want to talk about another trade setup that you guys can just, memorize, whether you're an investor or a trader or a bit of both. This is CHD. This is called Church and Dwight.
Right.
So basically, these are the guys that own Arm & Hammer, but they also own Trojan. So they sell condoms, lubricants, vibrators. So it's a diversified company.
I get it, man.
They're keeping it fresh.
You ain't got to tell me about CHD.
Yeah, CHD. So this is just a simple setup. You have a flat top. All-time highs right here. Price sells off. Hits its head. Eventually, it starts to break out. And when you have an all-time high breakout setup and it's been kind of bumping underneath it, boom, that can cause range expansion to the upside. So this is a trade setup right here. Buy right there. And I did take profits on this today just because the SPY is a little bit overbought. That's all.
Yeah.
So
nice little trade, man. Nice little trade. We made some money off them freaks.
Basically, I just want to show these to you just so you guys can memorize these setups. Whether you're an investor or a trader, if you're an investor and you're managing a fund, they're looking for these breakouts too. That's their chance to get in. Another one that was similar to this is Netflix. So we talked about Netflix stock last time on the Victory Talk podcast. Hey, Netflix long over 660. You can target that 690 area, about 5% higher.
Yeah.
And Netflix went about 4.8% up from that level. It's not all-time highs, but just memorize this setup where you have a rally, a consolidation, and then another rally.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. So Netflix and chill, more like Netflix and profit.
Come on, man. Come on.
Lastly, though, the one thing I wanted to cover was XLU. I brought this up last time. There's no real entry on this, but I'm liking XLU. If you're willing to wheel this or sell a cash secured put, which means you get paid to agree to buy the stock, that could be a potential option for you. So XLU pays about a 3.3% dividend a year. So that's guaranteed.
And just to be clear, it's XLU, guys, is a ETF that it's like a basket of utility stocks, right?
Yes, perfect. Exactly. Yeah, it's a basket of utility stocks. If you ever want to see the holdings, you can just look them up. You can also go over to the Analyze tab on Schwab. NEE is the top holding, SO, Duke Energy, SCEG, SRE. So you can see the holdings that are in there. You can do nerd research, like CFA type of research. I'm a CMT, which is the technical side of things. So I'm a professional when it comes to technical analysis, but I'm not a professional when it comes to fundamental analysis.
Nah.
And that's okay.
Me neither, man. You know what I'm saying?
So those are the main things I wanted to cover. UNG was another one. So this is natural gas. And so this is / natural gas futures. And this is just a simple break and retest type of setup. So what do I mean? Well, we have an impulse wave. We've got the consolidation. We got a breakout. If you missed it on the way out, try to catch it on the way back in. And that's exactly what I did on Monday. Bought the dip on NG. You can also do this through UNG. It trades liquid options. And basically, when it comes back to the former breakout area, you can take a little nibble. And most of the time, you'll get a small bounce, but it could morph into something bigger.
So UNG is that an ETF that tracks gas futures?
I believe it's an ETN that tracks natural gas. So basically, it's not like a basket of stocks, but it's tracking the price of natural gas.
Yeah.
What's
so
super
instead
nice
of
about
buying
it is
futures,
it's
you
got
can just
liquid
buy
options.
this. You can just buy the
what'd you say,
stock instead of the futures.
Yeah, exactly.
Got
And
it.
you can trade futures too on it. But moving forward, XLU and UNG, you could potentially wheel these stocks if you know how to do that. So just gotta
We should
wait
do
for
a
those
lesson
setups.
on the wheel, man.
Yeah, it's cash flow while you're waiting, and then if you get called away, you get assigned.
Hey, you get a sign. You get a sign.
So I really enjoyed when you were talking about tracking, Brandon. It's such a big deal. The same goes for trading too. Trading and investing. If you track your trades, track your investments, you'll find out what you're making more money on and what you're losing money on. cut out the shit that you're losing money on. Do more of what's making you money.
Come on, man.
Super
It's
simple.
it's simple, man. Once you got the data.
Exactly. And we have a lot of tools that can help you out. Like you can use AI to help you out. You got like nerds in the background that can calculate. Shit. But do you have any stocks for me? Are there any super chats that you want me to
we'll see if there's a super chat stock for you. Stock big super chat. But I wanted to ask you about remember I was asking, man, should we be shorting Shopify?
Let's check out Shop. Let's check it out. I believe that Brandon, what did we say? The 200 day.
It's shorted at the 200 day.
Did you short at the 200 day?
Nah.
Oh man, yeah, it got close. It like almost touched it.
And it filled the gap, right? So it's like that's kind of like perfect.
Yeah, this entire gap window. This is the window, as we call it.
Oh, okay.
That's all going to be resistance. Right here is technically the gap. Wherever it closed at, that's the gap.
That top part. I thought where it hit the 200 day was the like a few days before that.
That's also like a critical resistance area too. So I mean, it just depends on like what things are lining up. So this would be the gap from that ass earnings reaction. It was a good earnings report, but a bad reaction.
Yeah.
So that'd be the gap. But the entire gap window, whenever you see big spaces like this can be resistance if you're coming to it from the bottom side.
Pause.
So that is important. There is what's called thin liquidity, meaning not a lot of orders filled in that zone. So it could have a vacuum when it first breaks into the zone. And that's probably why you saw this kind of little mini rally. But yeah, Shop, it's coming into some kind of support, down there at like 60. But if this could show like a bear flag or something, maybe it's a short setup. There are probably better stocks to short though.
Esty. It looked like it came.
You called this one, Brandon. This is badass.
Yeah.
You called that one.
I was like, yo, this is the one.
This shit looks like it's about to break down. I mean,
it's good. I think it's gonna break down more.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Imagine when the SPY eventually corrects even just a little bit,
bro.
What I would look for though, if you're a trader, is you kind of have to be a little bit more picky with your entry. So maybe if you could get like a dead cat bounce, maybe in front of 60, or maybe a dead cat bounce at like 63. Put options, leap put options we talked about.
Yeah, the leap puts.
Yeah, or if it does like a little bit of like a bear flag, then it can set up an aggressive short. When it breaks down from that bear flag, you'd sell the break and look for an increase in volume. And again, we talked about how that can actually hedge a long-term portfolio if you have leap puts. So
yeah. Okay. CrowdStrike. It broke out a few days ago, and now it's look like it's high base in a little bit.
Yeah,
maybe.
I'd be more bullish than bearish on CrowdStrike. It is a little bit overbought. I'd like an entry near like 350. Maybe that's like an area to sell bullish put credit spreads. All else being equal, my forecast would be sideways to slightly higher from this point. This is a momentum stock. If we look at the weekly time frame, weekly highs, monthly time frame, that means monthly bull flag breakout, rally, bull flag. Now, can we get a rally of equal magnitude? Maybe.
Come on, man. Now, Chipotle.
Oh, hell yeah.
I've been
Chipotle in a while. I need to.
Come on, I had the Keto Bowl today, man.
Oh, hell yeah.
I think they meant to call it the King Keto Bowl, but everyone makes mistakes. You know what I'm saying?
They should, just for like you, like they should have like scanners that like detect Big Brandon Carter.
They should have called it the King Ketos, but they're not perfect. That's why. But they are at all-time highs.
Beautiful. I mean, this is kind of similar to the Celsius setup, though. Remember how when Celsius was downtrending and then you get a doji. This is uptrending. Now we have a doji. I'm not saying that it's going to drop. It just means it's a halt in the trend. So
check it out.
What's that?
They split on the 26.
Oh,
it's split. Yeah. It's a 50-1 split.
Damn, that's a savage split,
bro. I don't know. I think this. I think this. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not telling anyone to do. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is a buy.
I think it depends on your time horizon. So if you're an investor, it's probably a buy. If like your time horizon's longer than 3 years.
Yeah.
And again, this is not financial advice. This
No,
is
none
just,
of this is don't do any of this,
speculating.
guys.
We're drawing.
Yeah. Don't do anything we say ever.
Yeah, don't do anything we say. The shorter your time horizon, the more picky you have to be with your entry. And that just means you have to buy a support reaction or buy a break of resistance. Right now, we don't really have any resistance, and we have a little bit of space before we have support.
I'm thinking if it comes down to 3,230, like around that range.
Yeah.
Is that where you have it too?
Flat top. Flat top. That can always be just, it can offer a little reaction or it can offer a big reaction.
Yeah.
If it slices through it like butter, that would be what's called like a specialist or a false breakout. I don't foresee that really. We do have a volume spike with the doji right here. I would love to trade Chipotle very actively though after the split.
After the split, because it's so expensive now. Like, a fucking $300,000 for a fucking one option.
Yeah, one cash secured put costs 300 G's.
It's like, all right, bro. But it's gonna be way cheaper after the split to fuck with the options.
Exactly. Yeah. Like right now, if you were to buy like an at the money call option, the bid ask spreads are really wide. So you might have to pay $700 just to get into that trade.
Yeah, that's why I'm so bullish on it. One, the chart looks great. The company, I looked at the fundamentals. The fundamentals are sound, and at least that's what Morningstar said. There's more liquidity after a split, right? Because it's going to be fucking 50 times cheaper.
Exactly. Yeah, it brings in more investors. It allows more people to invest. It just attracts more investors. I'm waiting
on a split.
And Chipotle has pricing power. People will get Chipotle. Like I think
people fuck with Chipotle, man.
Like type in the chat, what's the most you'd be willing to pay for a burrito? For me, it'd be like what, $30? I don't know.
Yo, after the split, this might be the new Celsius.
It can be the new Victory Talk stock.
Yeah.
It's got a nice steady uptrend. Look how often it respects this trend line right here. All those touches, reaction. So as long as this uptrend holds, that's an objective buy point, as we call it.
Yo, come on, man. All right, well, that's all I got, Greg. Yo, listen, Greg is in our Discord. In the Victory in the Discord, he helping giving advice. He does a free trader town hall, him and Romulus, every Wednesday at what time?
That'll be at 4:15 p.m. Eastern tomorrow in the Discord. It's hosted by Romulus.
Hosted by the big homie Romulus and Young Candlestick is up in there. All right, y'all. All right, thank you.
Peace out.
Peace. All right, what else we got? I think we got some super chats. I think some heroes have contributed to that Thot Repellent.
I think Nima tried to add me, and then I added myself, and yeah. Anyway,
we
have Gabriel. Hi, Brandon. Do you still track your water intake? If so, how? Thanks a bunch.
Yeah, I just I have an app. What's this shit called? It's called Water Reminder. It was free, I think, or it was like so little that I didn't fucking notice how much I pay. And I just put in how much water I want to drink per day. And for me, it's 146 ounces per day. I think I'm gonna bump that number up. I think it might. I mean, that's based off some numbers that Huberman said. But I can't recommend that because I can't memorize his shit. So I might just start saying your body weight in ounces, right? You know what I'm saying? Your body weight in ounce. I'll figure out a way to say it. But okay, so Neva pulled up a tweet from Huberman, and it says literally suggests I can't read that. Sorry.
It's a tweet from you. Across the literature, the average suggestion of how much water to drink each day, independent of intake during exercise, is 8 ounces per
8 ounces.
Yeah, 8 ounces per waking hour for the first 10 hours of the day, and then 5 ounces per hour thereafter. Not necessarily on the hour, but on average.
That's hard to fucking remember. I think take your body weight in pounds and drink that same number in ounces, right? So that'd be 200 ounces of water every day. And just when I'm drinking water, I know how much the glass is. Or I know how much the bottle is or the can or whatever I'm drinking the water of. And then I just put that in the app. All right. Oh, what else we got?
We have Yan. What do you use to track money instead of Mint?
Yeah, now we're using what is it called? Optimus? Monarch. That's even better. Monarch is Monarch. They don't pay me to say that. I'll take the money if you motherfuckers are listening. Fucking white boys are listening. I'll take the money. I'm just assuming they white. Some of our white compadres, if y'all listening, man, give me some of that paper, man. I'm shouting y'all out all the time. Least you can do is break me off. Pause. Some of that money. Shit. All right. What else we got? Any other super chats?
We have Raf.
Big Raf.
Working a tech job, I save half my income. My weekends are free. Not sure if I should start Uber or spend more time towards trading. I have 50K saved. Thanks.
Yo, you should definitely be. If you got 50K saved, you take whatever your expenses are per month. Save 6 times that, so you have 6 months of savings. Put that somewhere where you don't touch it. And you need to be investing the rest aggressively, either in yourself or some sort of asset. But invest the rest aggressively and keep doing what you're doing. But you want to keep that nest egg because you'll just be calmer. You'll be able to make better decisions because you're calm. No matter what happens, you got that. Shit. If shit really hits the fan, you got 6 months to get it together, and that gives you a certain amount of confidence. And everybody I know who's done that has started to really succeed after they get that 6 months of savings, because they're not as fearful, they're not as stressed out, and they make better decisions that are less emotional, without exception. And they've never needed that 6 months of savings. I needed it once. I did need it once. Shit got crazy. Oh, it was during the pandemic because I just didn't pay myself because I didn't know what was going to happen. And I dipped into my savings. So I didn't pay myself for like the first half of the pandemic. And then I was like, all right, no, I'll be straight. I started paying myself again. Cool. Any more? Was that it?
We have Alfred. Hey, Brandon, I have DPDR, and I was wondering if how you feel impacts your financial results, even when you achieve your leading indicators every day.
What is DPDR? Nima, look up what DPDR is.
Personalization derealization disorder.
Oh, so it's like a mental disorder. Listen, I'm not qualified to give medical advice or psychiatric advice, for real. But I'll answer your question independent of the DPDR, because you're gonna need a professional for that, because this is the first time I heard of it. Wondering if how you feel impacts your financial results, even when you achieve your leading indicators every day. Well, the studies show that. Well, just think about it. How you feel, your emotional state impacts. I'm going to talk about that later, but how your emotions dictate everything you do. You get what I'm saying? So people, it's not just what you do. It's the emotional state you're in while you're doing it that leads to the results. For example, if let's say you want to be a better father, right? And you think, okay, I'm just want to spend time with my kids. I'm spend time with my kids more. But if you're in a bad mood spending time with your kids, you might do more harm than good. You yelling at motherfuckers, kicking kids and shit, But if you're in a great mood, you're happy, joyful, then it's like, it might be the best day ever for your kids, right? So it's not just what you do; it's the state you're in while doing the thing. I'm probably going to give that same example when I get back into the habits, but. It is important. It is important. Like, for real. Now, obviously you can be happy and not do the right thing and still fail. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's not one or the other. It's you still got to do the right things, but doing the right things within the right state of mind improves the quality of your performance dramatically, even, you know. Was that the last one?
No.
Oh shit. All right.
We have two more. We have Andres.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Mr. Carter, as a substitute for Thot Repellent, I've been on retention for 7 months since you haven't dropped it. We need it out here.
All right. Well, hey, thanks, man. Appreciate it. I am not a fan of semen retention. Pause. I think it's making things harder than they need to be. Pause. And and in fact, like I noticed, like, yo, if I fucking accidentally retain some semen for a few days, I noticed that I start making worse decisions. I'm more reactive, aggressive in like a bad way. I guess everyone's results may vary, right? So I'm not telling you what to do, you know, but like when I hear guys say they doing no fap or semen retention or all that shit, to me, it just sounds like the equivalent of a chick telling me about some fucking some magic rocks she bought that she keeps by her bedside, or burning sage around the house, or reading my horoscope. I feel like it's like the guy version of that. I really do feel like it's the guy version of that, because that's not the shit that's going to help move the needle. You know what I'm saying? If you want to make more money, you got to make more than you spend, right? Independent of how many nuts you bust, you know? If you want to get in shape, if you want to lose fat, you got to burn more calories than you consume. And it don't matter how many nuts you bust during that time, right? You know, if you burn more calories than you consume, you're going to lose weight, right? So, like, you know, maybe you were just joking, which is cool, but I just felt like addressing that shit because I didn't want to get the impression I was co-signing that shit. If you want to do it, that's cool, but it's not for me. You know what I'm saying? Pause. All right. Of course, no Diddy. All right. Oh, one more. All right. What up?
We have Max. He gave $10. This was last Thursday. What do you think about long form content on YouTube? You still suggest them?
I think it's important. Oh, that was an old yeah. I think it's obviously I do it, but if you're trying to grow your shit, you focus on shorts, right? For growth. And then once you have an audience, the long form will be helpful for you. But you can grow a YouTube channel with just shorts now, and it'll grow faster, right? So the barrier to entry is lower. That's what I would do. All right, cool. Let's get back into the habits of the winner. All right, so if you're just joining us, before I was answering super chats and shit, I was talking about the 10 habits that helped me become a multi-millionaire. All right, and the first one was using Google Calendar, right? Planning every hour of every day meticulously. The next one was tracking things, you know, tracking the metrics that are important. The third one is waking up early. Now, of course, you can still be successful if you wake up late, you know, for sure. But these are the habits that help me become a multimillionaire. I know you might find some people who wake up fucking middle of the day or some shit, but I'm talking about the habits that help me become successful. And so for a long time, I woke up at 4:30. I did that for years. I would wake up at 4:30. And what I noticed was I got more done during the day, not because there's more time, right? You still get the same amount of hours each day. But what happens is there's less distraction early in the morning. So you get more done during your time. It feels like you have more time because you're getting more done. There's less distractions, right? Also, what another reason it's helpful is because if you get up early and start going after your goals first thing in the morning, what happens is you start to get some wins early. You start to get some wins, some micro victories each day. And here's the thing about winning, right? When you get these victories, they give you a certain amount of confidence throughout the day, right? So by the time you get to work or you start interacting with other people, you already stacked up a bunch of victories. And now you moving into those situations with a victorious energy, right? Either maybe you worked out, or maybe you started working on a project, or you did something to help advance your life before the work day started. And you really feel like you're ahead of the game, you know? And when you get these, and here's a study that shows that, right, this is a study that shows that when people win something, when they have victories, their actual testosterone rises momentarily, but victories or winning increases testosterone and improves performance. That's what this study shows. You can go read that on your own time, right? And it's super helpful to go about the rest of your day. It sets the tone for the day, right? You start the day off winning, and it's hard to lose when you don't have no distractions. You up before the sun, you out getting shit done. By the time the fucking competition is up, you already win, man. These motherfuckers been losing in their sleep to you, right? Because you've been up winning before they even got up. You done stacked up 3, 4, 5 victories before your competition even made it into the office, you know, and that makes you feel good, you know, like that feeling is important. But also there's some research. I came across a study that shows that waking up early can actually improve your mood. It improves your mood, leads to greater satisfaction, minimizes health problems. Here's the study if you want to read it like a fucking dork. Sometimes I know you guys need to see the research to believe me, right? But that's the study. The research is pretty clear. It actually improves your mood, and I think it does that by allowing you to get some wins done early. All right. I mean, you get some wins early, first thing in the morning. You start your day off winning, right? And you're not rushing throughout the day. You ever see somebody panic getting into work last minute? They never in there smiling. They're not performing at their best when they fucking run into work right at the deadline, fucking photo finish. Okay, I made it. No, fuck that, man. You want to stroll in there? I'm already there. Motherfucker, step your game up. I've been winning all morning. You know, you want that. But one thing that's important, people don't talk about this. When you're waking up early, that means you went to sleep early, because you still got to get 7-8 hours of sleep per night, right? So if you're going to wake up early, that means you got to go to sleep early. If you go to sleep early, that keeps you out of fucking trouble. You get what I'm saying? You're not going to be up getting high, getting distracted, fucking people you shouldn't fuck, getting into trouble. Like a lot of bad shit, texting hoes, fucking your life up. Right? All the bullshit happens after 10. It's really hard to fuck your life up before 10 p.m. But after 10 p.m., that's when the bullshit starts happening. You know? That's when the bullshit starts happening. So if you go to sleep early, it keeps you out of trouble, man. I'm telling you, you're not going to get drunk, be out here drinking and driving, getting catfished by fucking hoes with filters if you sleep at 10. It really keeps you out of trouble. And that's what people don't talk about, right? Because sometimes success is not just doing the right things. A lot of times it's not doing the wrong things. And make no mistake, most of the wrong things happen after 10 p.m. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody fucking 5s and 6s before 10 p.m. You do that shit late at night under the cover of darkness, because you don't want no one to see you with one of them creatures. You know what I'm saying? We used to call them night fighters in college. You know what I'm saying? You out here with a night fighter. You can't be seen in the day with one of them. But if you sleep before 10, man, you ain't out here fucking 5s and 6s, you know? Yeah. Ain't nobody fucking 5s before 10. Get out of here. You're not drunk enough before 10 to fuck a 5. But after 10, you might get drunk enough to put your penis in one of them. Then what? You can't erase that. You can't unfuck her. You did that. That's who you are. You a 5 fucker. Go to sleep early. All right. The next habit to help me become a multi-millionaire was surrounding myself with the right people. Right. When I was living south side of Chicago, you know, the people my friend group from that time, almost all of them are dead in jail or have a leadership position in a street gang. And I would have been, and had I stayed around them, I no doubt would have, you know, met one of those 3 fates. Right? It's super important that you surround yourself about the right people, because you become like the people you're around, right? Whether you want to or not, involuntarily. You know what I'm saying? Think about the way you dress, your accent, your religious beliefs, your political beliefs. The people around you probably have similar beliefs, and you just adapted them for the most part without thinking about it. You were indoctrinated in it. Your accent is because you were around certain people growing up. You weren't born with that accent. Accent is not in anyone's DNA. You picked that up. You know what I'm saying? That's why I sound like a slave, because Harriet Tubman was bringing people to Chicago. I'm descendants of brave men and women who refuse to be held in bondage. And that's why a lot of people from Chicago have a little southern twang in their voice, you know? I mean, I don't be like just a little southern twang in the voice. A little bit, right? You too, is the people you're around, but there's studies that back this up. So here's a study that showed that if poor people make rich friends, they have a significantly better chance of becoming rich themselves. And so here's the study. Just bring it up real quick. This is right. Boom. It's a long study about upward economic mobility. You can check it out if you can screenshot it, read that if you want. They also have a part 2 of the study. They went deep on this subject. All right. But you can show part 2, man, so they know I'm not fucking around. You know what I'm saying? Social capital, determinants of economic connectiveness, right? So most of you motherfuckers don't read, but basically what they said is they found that poor people. The more poor people have rich friends, the more likely they are to become rich, right? It's because rich friends can help them get good jobs and they can learn important skills from them, right? But they also pick up the mindsets, they pick up the beliefs, they pick up some of the habits. You're going to become like the people you're around, right? So they start picking up some of the habits of rich people or more successful people, right? There's a quote from the article that said, when it comes to upward financial mobility, the most important thing was having rich friends. It was like the number one factor, right? But it's not even just with money; it's also with health. Here's a study from the New England Journal of Medicine. I don't have to tell you guys about the New England Journal of Medicine. I'm sure you guys are all subscribers, reading it all the time. But in this one particular study, it found that if one person is obese, their friends chances of becoming obese increase significantly, right? Not only their friends, but their siblings, their spouses, right? So if one person you know becomes obese, you have a significantly higher chance of becoming obese. Oh, here's that New England. Fuck. I can't click on the actual study. Here's where they showed it in Harvard. Google this if you want to see it, and then all right. Hold on, I can find it. I can find a better study. Oh, here's another study showing that if your spouse loses weight, right? If your spouse is going through a weight loss diet or protocol or regimen, and they lose weight, you're likely to lose weight as well without even following the protocol. You know what I'm saying? Just the fact you're around someone losing weight, you're likely to lose weight. And here's the study here. You can check it out on your own time. They call it the ripple effect, right? And then my favorite study. This is my favorite one. And this study shows that if your friend becomes obese, you have a 45% chance of gaining weight. But all right, we already talked about that. Here's where it gets crazy. But if a friend of a friend, a motherfucker you don't even know, your boy's boy, gets obese, your likelihood of gaining weight increases by 20%, even if you don't know the friend. You hear what I'm saying? If a motherfucker you don't know knows one of your homies, if that motherfucker gets fat, you have a 20% chance of getting fat, even if you never met this motherfucker, right? Crazy. I'm gonna show you the study in a minute. But the study also went on to say that if a friend of a friend's friend, like 3 layers deep, if that motherfucker gets obese, you have a 10% chance of gaining weight. Let me tell you. So if Nima, one of his boys, has a friend who gets fat, I got a 10% chance of getting fatter. Shit is contagious out here. Here's let me show you the study.
It's crazy.
Oh man, they got to verify that I'm a human. All right, cool. Here's the study. This was in the New England Journal of Medicine as well. You know, I'm sure you guys are all subscribers. You know, read it. Check that study out. I mean, that shit is fucking insane, right? If it does that with weight, it stands to reason, judging from the other studies, that it's similar with income. You get what I'm saying? It's similar with income. Then the study showed it's similar income. If you got rich friends, you're likely to become richer. All my friends get more money. Nima made way more money since I met him. I know because I pay him. You know what I'm saying? Greg, Young Candlestick got more money. All the homies got more money after being around your boy. You know what I'm saying? That's a fact. You know? And here, if you don't believe this, only the real players know this shit. If you're having sex with 2 women, only the real players know this shit. What you'll notice is their periods start to link up. Yeah, I swear to God they do. They don't even know each other unless you're really pimping, right? But unless you're really pimping. But let's just say you're having sex with 2 girls, their periods start to link up, man. I heard. That's what I heard. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, this shit happens. You know, this is real shit. All right. Where are we at? Okay. The next habit to help me become a multi-millionaire baller shot, call a fly ass handsome nigga, is you keep your phone away from you while you're working. Right. So when I was really first grinding, trying to get that first million, I had 2 phones. Right. And one was a phone for business, and one was a phone for friends and family. Right. So the business phone has social media and all this shit. The friends and family, its only job was to communicate with friends and family, right? And when I was at work, I kept the business phone on me. When I was with my friends and family, I kept the business phone away from me, right? And that helped me become like way more productive. But sometimes when I was going really hard, I would put both phones away from me. And what it does is eliminates distractions, man. Social media, phone calls, interruptions. Man, fuck that shit. You got to hustle. You got to get money, man. You got to get money. And now I only have one phone, but the phone has different focus modes. The iPhone now has different focus modes. So now I can make my phone do that with a push of a button instead of having to switch phones. But I still keep my phone on do not disturb basically all the time. No apps have any notifications. If I get a text or a call, if I get a call, it goes straight to voicemail. Nobody's heard my phone ring ever. You know what I'm saying? What y'all hear, y'all think it's a ringtone. It's really just an alarm that goes off at 8:30 and 9. Yeah, but my phone is kind of always on do not disturb. My girl can get through depending on what focus mode I have on. My girl, my mom, my son's mom, and my COO. Those people can get through on most of the settings, but there's some settings where nobody can get through. And sometimes I still put my phone on a charger in the bathroom, close the door, and get to work, because distractions are the main thing that can suck up your productivity. Distractions will ruin your productivity. If you don't believe me, open up the screen time app on your phone. Right? This phone, a lot of great things have happened from the phone, but it's also keeping a lot of you guys in bondage, right? Because never before in human history have you been able to have so much, been able to access so much dopamine with one device, right? With one device, you have unlimited access to entertainment, video games, YouTube, Netflix, pornography, gambling, all in one app. I mean, all in one device, right? So you got to control it more than instead of letting it control you. And I know a lot of you guys think that, I'll just ignore it. But I'm telling you, man, the best thing to do is just to put it in another room when you're working super hard, right? Because abstinence is always easier than moderation. It's easier to just not do something than it is to do it sparingly. Because it's when you do something moderately, you're kind of like teasing yourself, and now it's like you have an itch for it. But if it's locked in the other room, it's just in the other room, man. You can still go get it, but it's more friction, right? And you're more likely to adhere to leaving it alone. I'm telling you that's been a key to my success. Keep the phone away from you while you're working. When I'm working out, I don't have the phone with me. I just wait till the end of the workout, take a douchebag selfie when I'm done, to let the haters know that they got a lot of catching up to do. They losing on that front as well. But during the workout, that shit is in the bag. I throw on the audio book that I'm listening to, headphones. It's on Do Not Disturb, and it's in the bag. Because I do not want to be one of them motherfuckers in the gym on the phone the whole time. They do that shit on accident. They're not trying. It's just what it is, right? And the same thing at work. Same thing when I'm with my girl. Same thing when I'm with my son. When I'm really concentrating, I'm not on my phone much. I'm not on my phone at all when I'm doing something that's important to me. And I scheduled the time that I need to do phone shit. All right. The next habit that helped me become a multimillionaire is my diet. Now, listen, I'm not one of these guys that say, man, if you don't have a six pack, you're a loser. I'm not that guy, right? I'm talking about diet as it pertains to performance, right? So even before I went keto, I got a lot of productivity from fasting, doing intermittent fasting 16 hours a day. And I noticed during that fasting block, during that fasting window, I was so productive. And as soon as I broke my fast, it seemed like it all shut down, right? And I was eating carbs at that time, right? And so that definitely contributed to it. I noticed that when I was fasting, though, I would get so much done. And so my goal was to get as much work done as possible before 3 p.m. when I broke my fast, because I knew it was all downhill from there. And that's kind of when I realized how much diet actually it impacts my performance as it pertains to work and getting this fucking paper, right? And here's why that's important. Here's why the fasting worked, right? When your body consumes carbohydrates, it converts those carbohydrates into glucose, right? And that's the fuel your body runs off. But when when your glucose levels go above 110, your pancreas secretes a hormone called insulin. Insulin's job is to flush out the excess glucose. Otherwise, you die, right? This is why people with diabetes have to inject their insulin. Otherwise, they die, right? So it's a good thing we have insulin. However, insulin will indiscriminately get rid of your body's blood glucose, right? So it'll take it from your brain, and it'll take as much as it can get. And this is why sometimes it takes more than it needs to. And this is one of the reasons why a lot of people get tired after they eat. It's one of the reasons. There's other reasons, but it's one of the main reasons people get tired after they eat, because their body, the insulin spike has taken away so much glucose, and now they don't have no energy. You know what I'm saying? This is one of the reasons, right? Now, I noticed when I went keto, I got the same effect as fasting without having to fast. I'm not telling you to do keto, but what I do want you to do is to learn how to manage your blood glucose levels, right? So there's a great book I read recently called The Glucose Revolution. And it wasn't about being keto. It was about managing your glucose levels, keeping them stable so you don't get these huge insulin spikes. And there's a lot of things you can do. You could go keto, and I'll talk about that in a minute, or you just manage your glucose levels. So one of the ways you can manage your glucose levels is to not fucking eat sugar like a kid. Motherfuckers be wondering why they tired. Motherfuckers wonder why they tired. And I'm like, what you eat for breakfast? Lucky Charms. Like a motherfucker, you had candy for breakfast. Of course you get tired, right? Because it's just all sugar. What do you think that's going to do to your glucose levels? It's going to spike them through the roof. Then your insulin levels will spike, and now you're going to be tired, right? That's what the sugar crash is, So limit you want to really control your glucose levels. A few things you can do is to make sure you consume protein with your carbs if you're going to eat carbs. Another thing you can do to manage glucose levels is to eat a salad before you eat your meal. These are stuff I got from the book, right? Or go for a walk after you eat. Like a 10-15 minute walk after you eat seems to stabilize glucose levels because you're burning a lot of this shit off. Or you could just go keto like me, right? Because I tracked my blood. I wore a continuous glucose monitor for a month to track my glucose levels. And almost every day, the app it was connected to thought that I was fasting. It thought that I was fasting because my glucose levels were so stable, right? Now, there are studies that show. Hold up. Fuck. Here's a study that shows that keto is from the University of Kentucky that shows that the ketogenic diet can improve cognitive function, right? So it's not just me talking. Then here's another one here. Here's another study that shows the ketogenic diet improves cognition. Now, there's a reason why, right? The ketogenic diet was invented by doctors in 1920, right? As a natural treatment for children with epilepsy, because the drugs were super harsh on the kids at that time. So they wanted to come up with something natural. And that's where the ketogenic diet came from. And what they noticed was these kids stop having seizures, right? Because it affects your brain in a positive way, right? So ketogenic diet has a positive impact on your brain. That's why these kids stopped having seizures, right? They also got ripped as well, I assume. right? And here's another study basically showing that the ketogenic diet, how it impacts your brain and cognition. It's really good. It's really good for diet for you. But if you don't do that, at least manage your glucose levels, right? There are some cereals can contain as much sugar as a Krispy Kreme donut. You can look that up. You can Google that. You know what I'm saying? If you're eating all that fucking sugar, man, I promise you, you're gonna it's gonna affect you negatively as far as productivity is concerned. Huberman had a doctor on his podcast. He's one of the heads of Harvard University's psychiatric ward, right? Harvard University, right? And one of the reasons he's treating actual patients with the ketogenic diet is helping them with no, it's not him. I got it. Hold on, I'm gonna show you. Yeah, Dr. Chris Palmer. If you want to check it, he has an interview with Dr. Chris Palmer, and in that video, he talks about how he treats fucking crazy people. He just puts them on keto, and a lot of these people aren't crazy anymore. Their whole lives improve, right? And he also wrote a book about using diet to help with psychiatric disorders, and I've noticed that it helps me a lot because I was diagnosed with bipolar 2 back in the day. It's 2, the new shit, man. These motherfuckers went that old bipolar, man. Step your game up, man. We on the next bipolar. We on the new bipolar now. Anyway, that's what I got. And my therapist, they said I don't need medication because I handle it so well. And a big part of that is my diet. Right? If you don't believe me, you don't believe me, believe Chris Palmer, one of the heads of Harvard University's psychiatric ward, right? I know some of you guys need to hear a white man say it before you believe it. So go ahead and check that out. But that leads me to the next habit that leads me to the next habit that's helped me become a multimillionaire is meditation. Meditation, this has been super critical for me. I've been meditating for 15 years straight now, right? I meditate twice a day, 15 minutes each session, once in the morning, once in the afternoon. And meditation has an almost comical list of benefits. It's so long, right? But I'm gonna show you one right here. Here's how it's gonna help you make more fucking money, right? Meditate. Here's a study that shows that just 8 weeks of mindfulness meditation can actually shrink your amygdala. Here's a study right here. You can read that on your own time, right? Why is that important? Well, because the amygdala, sorry, I'll write this a different color. The amygdala is a part of your brain that controls your fight or flight. This is a brain that controls your fight or flight system, right? Your fear centers, right? Let's say it's around right here. That's my artist rendition of a brain. You might have to use your imagination a little bit. It's kind of an abstract art, but you get it, right? That's where your amygdala is, right? And 8 weeks of meditation actually shrunk that amygdala. So what does that mean? That means you're less anxious. You have less fear because that's where the fear comes from. That's where the emotion of fear comes from, your amygdala. So people who meditate, not only do they report being calmer and more in control of their emotions, the brain scans show that that's the case, right? But that's not all. Here's another study that shows that. Hold on, don't pull it up yet. Here's another study that shows that meditation increases gray matter density in the region of your brain that we call the neocortex. You can show the study real quick. So the neocortex is the part of your brain, it's like in your frontal lobe, and human beings have a larger neocortex. Human beings have a larger neocortex than other animals. That's why we are able to create languages, create mathematics, create economies, build buildings, make YouTube videos, and other animals struggle with that, right? Like these motherfuckers just focus on staying alive and getting some animal pussy. That's all they can really think about. But we can do other things as a result of our large neocortex. Now, meditation is shown to improve this part of your brain. This is where logic happens, right? Logic, where you're able to think logically. It increases density in that part of your brain and shrinks your amygdala. So what does that mean? You're making better decisions, man, because you're less fucking scary and emotional, and you're more logical as a result of just meditation, right? These are the brain scans that show that this really happens, right? And then here's another study. I'm gonna show you this last one. People who meditate for 8 weeks in a row. I don't want to read that one. All right, here's a study that shows that people who meditate, you know, they experience significantly less stress, right? They're less stress, less anxiety, right? There's another study showing that people who meditation lowers cortisol. Cortisol is the stress hormone. It's the hormone your body secretes when you're stressed out, right? After 4 months of meditation. Here's the thing. Some people I know, friends, one of my boys told me this yesterday, man. He was struggling with something. And I asked him, man, have you been meditating? He was like, nah, man, I ain't meditate. He said, man, I tried it and I wasn't getting all the results you say you get. I was like, well, how long were you doing? He said, no, I never did it regularly. Just every time I tried it, I ain't feel nothing after. I'm like, motherfucker, it's not magic. It's not like, it doesn't happen instantly. You want to think of it like working out. I think of it like training my brain, like exercising my brain. If you hit the gym once, you're not going to be different today. You won't even be different this week, right? It'd be very small, right? You have to do it over you have to do it consistently over a long period of time. Like exercise, like any exercise, you have to do it consistently over a long period of time. Studies show that 8 weeks is when you start seeing benefits. 8 weeks of consistency. So you got to do it consistently for 2 months to start seeing benefits, right? But then after that, the benefits, I'm just telling you, man, you're going to be, studies show, and I'm not telling you, studies show that you'll be able to think clearer, you'll be less emotional and more logical, right? And you'll be able to control your emotions more. And how it helps me respond instead of react when I'm in situations that are stressful. I remember, you know, I was in a stressful situation with my girlfriend. We were at the plane station. I call it the plane station because I don't like the word airport. It's a plane station. And our flights kept getting delayed. And then I was like, fuck it, let's get on another flight. But it was at a different airport. It was at we had to leave Miami airport and go to Fort Lauderdale. Then that flight got delayed. And I remember her saying that she was very shocked at how calm I was. And I wasn't trying to be calm. It's just because I've been meditating for so long, I'm less likely to react involuntarily to things. You know, I can respond instead of react. I've been in a lot of stressful situations around different people, and they're panicking. They're like, man, how are you staying so calm? And I didn't even notice I was being calm. I was like, oh, I'm just not a spaz. Like, I'm just cooler than you, you know. But I realized, no, I meditate. That's why I'm cooler than you. That's why you flipping out and shit and tripping. You all scared and shit, ready to cry. And I'm chilling, like, you know, like it's just some normal shit for me, man. You know, with this, man, oh, no. Ain't no big deal, man. We're just gonna do this instead. And it's served me well because in business or success in life, you're gonna run against a lot of challenges. It's never gonna be easy. Your life is not gonna be an unbroken boulevard of green lights. You're gonna have a lot of setbacks. And the the better you can respond to them instead of reacting or spazzing out, the more successful you'll be. Right? Warren Buffett said, if you can't control your emotions, you can't control money. Warren Buffett, he's one of the richest people of all time. Right? You have to be able to control your emotions to control money. And I just want you to think about there's two leaders. You can follow each one. You can follow either one. The first one, he's always spazzing out. He's always tripping. He's fucking panicking and shit. The next one is always calm. Same situation. He's always calm. All right, listen, we're just going to do this. We're going to attack it. We're going to handle it. Who do you want to follow? Right? So now do you know who do you want to follow? Who do you want to be? Right? Who are your employees want to follow? They want to follow the spaz or they want to follow the calm one? Right? Who does your girl want to follow if you're supposed to be the leader? Right? Does she want to follow the spaz? Or does she want to follow the dude who can be like the Rock? Not Dwayne Johnson. I meant like a metaphorical rock. And who do you want to do business with? The motherfucker who's spazzing out, the motherfucker who's always calm. Nah, listen, I got this. Don't even trip. Right? Meditation is the only thing I know that will give you that. It's the only thing I know. And the studies show that they do it. But you got to do it consistently over a long period of time. All right. One of my heroes, Ray Dalio, Bridgewater Capital, one of the top 10 richest men in the world. He said that meditation was one of the number one reasons why he's successful as well. So it's not just me. It's also Ray. It's also Lil Ray Dalio and a bunch of other people speak highly. Look it up, man. Look up successful people who meditate. The list is crazy. All right. The next thing that helped me become the next habit to help me become a multimillionaire was investing in myself. I remember when I was struggling, I would make sure that I made twice as much money as I needed to survive. Right. And then after I had I made sure I saved up. I put aside 6 months of expenses to cover my expenses. And then the rest of that money I would just invest in myself at the time. Right. You know, I wasn't investing in stock market or business or even or real estate or anything at the time. I would just invest in more knowledge because I know that if I wanted to actually succeed, I would need more information. I would need more knowledge, and I would invest in books, courses, classes. I remember I took a speed reading class so I can read more books in my early 20s. I would buy every course, go through them, take notes. I would go to different masterminds, and it did a few important things for me. Once, it helped me make some friends who were on the same wavelength. Right. I started meeting people at different events who were on the same trajectory. And remember, you become like the people you're around. So if your friends are out here trying to get money, you know what I'm saying? It stands to reason from what I showed you earlier that you're more likely to get money as well. And I just started learning more things, and I started seeing more avenues for success. And I started developing more skills, and I was able to deploy those skills against my goals. And then I started just investing in myself. I just started investing in myself and investing in my business, you know, whether it was buying computer parts. Oh, I remember I had to learn I needed a new computer. This was back in the 2000s, like 2009. Back then it was cheaper to build your own computer instead of buying a cheap one. And I had to learn how to build computers, and I built one. Right. That was investing in myself, learning that skill. I had to learn how to edit these videos. I edited the first 1,000 videos on my YouTube page. I had to teach myself these things, you know, investing in myself. It made me better. And I had more skills, and those skills allowed me to make more money. It's super important. Invest in yourself early. And the next habit that helped me become a multimillionaire was learning sales. Now, I was lucky. My dad was a good salesman. All right. So, those of you know my story. I grew up super poor at Southside Chicago. Then I got sent away to military school because I got in a little bit of trouble. I was a bad kid. And then I got sent away to military school. And when I went to military school, my dad's business started working out. He was struggling the whole time up until I was like fucking 13, 14, or whenever kids go to high school. But when I got to high school, it started to work. And by the time I was done with high school, he was making $8 million. I'm sorry, he was making $3 million a year. And adjusted for inflation, that'd be $8 million in today's money, right? There's a few things to learn from that. One was, damn, this motherfucker had to wait 13 years. He had to work hard, 13 years, struggle for 13 years before he started balling. You motherfuckers are ready to quit after the first time you try anything. But he was doing the sales for his business, and he taught me sales, and I learned how to do sales from him. You know, we was poor, so I wouldn't have a babysitter sometimes. I'd just be at the office with him, listening to him do sales calls the whole time while I'm playing with G.I. Joes and shit. And I picked up all the sales from him, and he was able to make what would be $8 million in today's money. Now, he fucked it up because I didn't experience any of the wealth, because after I went to college, he started fucking shit up, you know, and then he was broke by the time I left college. So I missed the whole fucking wave. Right. And then he killed himself, and then we were back to being poor again. Right. So I missed all of it. However, he didn't leave me no money. He didn't help me, give me no money or nothing. What he gave me was the skill set of sales. And I've been able to use sales to make so much money. Sales, if I didn't have the skill of sales, I wouldn't be where I am today. Maybe I'd have found another way. But, you know, this is a list of the things that I did to become a multimillionaire. Sales has been one of the number one things that has helped me become successful. And that's because without business, if your business is not making sales, you don't have a business. It's one of the most important parts of a business is selling. You have to get people to exchange currency for your goods or service. And sales is what does that. If you can learn sales, you'll never be broke. I think right now, if shit hit the fan and I had to start over, I'd be good. I'd be right back here super quick, probably faster than it took me to get here initially, because now I have the skills of sales. And even right now, I have enough confidence to take bigger risks, because I know if shit hits the fan, I can just hit up one of my homies who has something to sell, be like, yo, let me sell for you. Or let me run your sales team. I'm that good now. Let me run your sales team. Let me build you a sales team. And I know that we'll be right back there. It's super important. I have some videos on sales if you want to check it out, but it's one of the things that's really helped me the most. And the last thing that has helped me become the last habit that helped me become a multimillionaire is reading. So I became an avid reader at around age 16 or 17. The first book I read was Awaken the Giant Within by Tony Robbins. And it's still one of my top 5 favorite books. And I remember reading that book. I was like, damn, how did I make it this long without knowing this information? And every time I read and that made me want to read more books. I'm like, damn, how much more shit is out here that I don't know? And I kept reading. I even took a speed reading course so I can read even faster. At one point, my reading speed was 600 words per minute. It's not that fast anymore. One, because I'm old, and also because you got to practice to keep that speed up. But when it was that fast, I was going through books. I was going through about 2 books a week, and I still read a book and a half a week now. But for years, it was 2 books a week. And the beauty of that is you learn so much knowledge. You learn so many things that you can apply to your business, to your goals, to your life. And you have a bigger lexicon of information to pull from when you're in situations. You know, I find myself in situations, and maybe everybody's asking, what should we do? And I'll remember a book I read that talked about what to do in this situation, right? Because experience is the best teacher, but it doesn't have to be your experience, right? Experience is the best teacher, but it doesn't have to be your experience. In anything you're trying to accomplish, there's probably somebody who did it and wrote a book about it. You get what I'm saying? There's probably somebody who did it and wrote a book about it. And if you read that book, you'll be in a better position to accomplish your goal. That's been my experience. I would be nothing without the books I have. Like, these books ain't decoration. I read these books. I read more books than this. I have twice as many books as this in storage right now. It wouldn't fit into this apartment, you know, and that's not even accounting what's on my Kindle. Like, I really do this. It's really helped me a lot in life. And if you want to know what books you read, you should read. If you want to know what books you should read, I have a video on my top 50 books on getting money. Go check that video out right now. Right? Cool. Let's run through any super chats we have, and then we'll be done.
We have Geek Monster Gaming.
Mm-hmm.
Brandon, how to get old white people to let their guard down when you're selling and listen.
Well, listen, you know, you know, this is about how you present yourself. You know what I'm saying? And this is with everyone, not just white people, just in general. It's just how you present yourself. You know, like if I'm trying to sell something to an old white man who doesn't know me, or just an old man who doesn't know me, I'm probably not going to dress like this, right? I know who my target market is. I know who you are. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you got to dress the part. You know what I'm saying? Think about who they do business with and present yourself like this, right? So if you look like the icon on your YouTube, is going to be difficult for you. I'm going to be honest with you, right? If you run around with dreads and a grill and shit, man, I won't let my guard down around you. You know what I'm saying? You come up to me trying to talk to me, man, I'm going to have my hand on the 9 the whole time, man, waiting for you to make a wrong move. You know what I'm saying? So you gonna frighten me. And I'm a real nigga. So imagine how they gonna feel. You know what I'm saying? For real. It's all about how you present yourself. You know, like, here's the thing. It's weird. People seem to don't take this into account. But you control your perception. You control your perception. You know, it's like the chicks who say, just because I dress like this doesn't mean that I'm a hoe. I mean, you're right, 100%. But like, what did Dave Chappelle said? You know, that he said it'd be like me dressed as a fireman, and there's a fire that goes out. There's a fire going down. People see him in a fireman suit, and they be like, "Oh my God, so glad to see you." And he's like, "Whoa, just because I'm dressed like this doesn't mean I'm a fireman, right?" Like, you control your perception. So if they don't let their guard down around you, again, that's your fault. You know what I'm saying? Like, you control your perception. And you know, there was a time in my life when when it was important for me to look like a good boy in order to evade how do I say this? To evade law enforcement. I didn't know. I thought I couldn't think of a cool way to say it. So I would, like, during that, I would wear my glasses, make sure I was clean shaven, maybe wear like some slacks and like a collared shirt. And that's how I would ride the Greyhound, you know, covering my tattoos. That's how I'd grab my Greyhound on that I-95 from Miami to New York. You know what I'm saying? The hustlers know what I'm talking about. You know, and I didn't look suspicious at all under those circumstances, right? You control your perception, you know, and you know. So if you walking around with neck tattoos and dreadlocks, there is an environment where that's going to like work to your advantage, but there's also an environment where it's going to work to your disadvantage. You know? All right. What else we got?
He has a follow-up. He asks how to get through your sales process when the person trying to get you off their door from the start.
You're gonna get a lot of that when you're doing door-to-door sales, and that's okay. You know, you got to be comfortable with rejection. There's no way to eliminate that. You know, there might be some ways to improve it, but you know, you got to get comfortable with that. And the thing with door-to-door sales, bro, you gotta go. It's really just you're playing a numbers game. You're playing a volume game. So your goals needs to be to get as many no's as possible, because each no gets you closer to the yes. So you got to get as many no's as possible.
We have Calvin.
Mhm.
I'm making a 12-week program for my audience, but all I know is the Kino body approach. That's how I trained for 4 years. Would I be copying him?
I mean, if you copy him, yeah, you're gonna copy him for sure. You know, I don't know why you got to think why they're gonna buy yours instead of him. You know, and then it's like, you know, it might make sense for you to like learn more about. If you can't just regurgitate his shit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you can, right? But it's like, yeah, you know, you got to put you know, we all build off something, right? Because his shit, he built his shit off like lean gains, and you know, a lot of shit I learned. I mean, I didn't invent anything, right? You know, but I've when I was selling fitness stuff, but it was still like a conglomerate of things that I learned from our approach, and then I found a way to make it sexy and unique. So you got to find a way to make it sexy and unique. You might have to learn more, man. You know, and that's okay. That's okay. Learn more, study more. You know, start reading. You know what I'm saying? Get some knowledge under your belt. Remember we talked about investing yourself earlier. You know.
And we have the HVAC podcast. What's good, bro? My agency is growing fast and digital products are kicking.
Nice.
How do you keep good momentum and positive energy flowing?
Man, you don't let in the negative, right? You don't have to worry about being positive. You got to just don't be negative. You get what I'm saying? Nothing goes up in a straight line. You know, you're gonna at some point you're gonna get some setbacks, whether personal or business, right? And it's just how you handle it. You know what I'm saying? It's just how you handle it. If I was you, I'd ride that momentum. You know, here's one thing. Here's one thing. Here's some good advice. When things are going well, go harder. Where people fuck up is they things start going well and they take their foot off the gas. But two things happen. One, you lose momentum. And then what a lot of people do, they stop doing the things that got them successful. And then it's hard to get that momentum back, man. It's super difficult to get that momentum back. And that's what I know my dad. He stopped doing the things that got him successful. He started indulging in the fruits of his labor. And you know how that story ends, right? So for me, I just keep my foot on the gas, keep that momentum going, man. I can't, because once you get going, it's easy to keep going. But once you, but if you stop or slow down and you got to get that momentum up, it's gonna be more difficult, you know. So and if things are and especially if you like find something and think if it gets easy, this is what happens to some entrepreneurs. They get successful and it feels like it's easy and they get bored and they want to start doing something different. And it's the biggest mistake you can make. Because what you really should do when it starts feeling easy is you should go super harder, right? Because it might not, there's no guarantee it's going to be easy forever, right? So you want to get some momentum. Like if I was you, I'd start working even harder now that everything is going good. Like just go harder. Do not indulge, do not kick your feet up. Now's not time to start because if you start, you got to keep going. You know what I'm saying? All right. Listen, this has been another episode of that Victory Talk podcast. We do this every Tuesday and Thursday. Oh, there's no episode this Thursday. And 2 weeks in a row? 2 days in a row? God damn. Nima out here. Must be nice. And must be nice. So we'll be back in a week and a half. But for now, make sure you you sign up for the Big Money Methods newsletter and join the Discord. We're gonna be up in there. But you subscribe to Big Money Methods like right now. Don't fuck around. That way you can still get information from me while Nima's out here doing God knows what. All right, I'll holler at y'all. Peace.